Shalom and good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for a very special shiur today here on the seventh night of Hanukkah. I hope you've been enjoying all the lessons all throughout the Hanukkah. We have been talking about much from Hanukkah in the light of Mashiach, and of course the purpose behind Hanukkah and looking at the studies of Hanukkah is really to focus on the musar, the ethics, and the understanding of the power of the light, how to overcome darkness, and taking a deeper meaning of the lighting of the Hanukkah. In the last two lessons of Hanukkah in the light of Mashiach this year, we are going to be focusing in this very special message titled Shnei Ha'olamot, the two world. We're going to look specifically at some of the understanding of the connection between Hanukkah, which is in a way connecting us to the number 8 to everything else that is related to the number 7, which is really important. It's a connection, it's a bridge between the 7, which represent this world, and 8 that represent the world to come, or the higher realm, or the higher world. Now, it's important to keep in mind the words of Yeshua that will be really important as we're going through those two lessons today and tomorrow. Today will be part 1 and tomorrow it will be part 2. In The book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 16, it said, let your light shine before men, that they will see your good deeds and they will praise your heavenly Father in heaven. It's going to be a really important verse, and I want you to continue to keep this verse in the back of your mind. Now, before we get to there today, we're going to throw some name of you at you. One of them will be the Maharal of Prague. We're going to look at him here just in a little bit uh, uh, later. But there is something important that I want you to consider this evening. The menorah had 7 kanim, 7 lights, 7 branches that were lit. But in Hanukkah, we light the number 8. And I want to connect it. Listen to this. It's asked a question, according to the Maharal of Prague. It says that the Maharal of Prague explains that the number 7 has a name. It is called Dargat Olam, spirituality that can be attained in the world. There are many things that are number 7. For example, it says by Maharal of Prague that the Shabbat, it says, after the 6 days of creation, the 7th day come as it represents the picture of the Olam Abba. You see, there is a connection between the 6 and the 7. The 6 represent a world, a picture of a world, and 7, like the Shabbat, represent another world or another dimension, like the Olam Abba. And this Olam, according to the Maharal of Prague, called Dargat Olam, meaning it representing a picture of the world that we see right now. Olam Asiyah, the world of doing. We smell, we touch, we feel, we do good, we do evil, we etc., etc. And there is a parallel to this also. If we are talking about 7 and 8, there is a distinction between the world of 7 and the world of 8. Now, listen to the question that is being asked here by the Maharal of Prague. This very important question to ask, because to reach the level 8, we're talking about another dimension. We're talking about reaching another level. If 6 represent the world of Asiya and 7 represent a higher plane, what is the connection between 7, which is a higher plane, to even a more higher plane? And the question that was asked by Maharal of Prague is this: how is the unreachable wholeness, you see, the level 8 is another dimension that is not necessarily reachable or attainable by us, connected to the Olam that is called the Olam of Asiya, the world we're living in today. In essence, if we live in this world today, right here and now, and it is a physical world, and we light the Hanukkah and we look at the flame, and we're talking about casting out darkness, how is that related to another level, to another world, to the world to come? And especially the question is, what is the connection between those two worlds? Well, the Maharal of Prague explained that those two worlds representing an allegory to two aspects of a person. A person have two aspects to him. The 1 through 7 has a name, as you see, it's called Depnimiyut. Depnimiyut literally means the heart. We will talk about this in a second. And the level 8, which is the level of Hanukkah, is the level of Chisoniut, which is a level of action, which is interesting, that is related to this. Listen to what he says, and I quote it. He says, there are two aspects, two ways to view our walk. The first way is a way of pnimiut, okay? What does that mean? What does pnimiut mean? Pnimiut is a level that a person can reach from within himself, from his own heart. It's called being able to get to the truth from one all out. But there is another way that you can think about this. It's called the chitzoniyut, which is the externality. This is a way that a man can attain to the same level, but he's reaching it through his own sechel. Sechel is his own mind, okay? Which is very, very different. You see, in a way, of the pnimiut, it's explained, a person can achieve only thing that is inside his own heart. Meaning, only thing that is found inside his own world, his own universe. The things that are pnimiut, the things that when a person, he moved by the spirit, for example, the person who is being touched by, is things that only affect himself. But you know, when you talk about the things that of the sechel, the things of the sechel, they're different. That is when you can achieve things that are not necessarily affecting a person only by his heart, but his things outside, his things that his intellect can attain. Now remember what he says in the Psalm. The Psalm says that we have created just slightly below God. So the question becomes, what is more important? Is to have the pnimiut of God, the pnimiut, or to have the chitzoniut, or the intellect? Is it better to be attained or to be moved by the spirit and by the heart? Or is it better to be operating from a place of the intellect, of the mind? You see, this is an important question. It's kind of a connection between the 7 and the 8, the menorah and Hanukkah. This is an important question. And here, the Maharal of Prague explained that those that are operating from a place that is not just confined to their own world. This is very important. They're not just confined to their own world. They can reach a higher level. I want you to hear this. If you operate only by emotions, you will be able to operate only by emotions that related to you. But when you operate it from this sechel, from understanding, you will be able to actually reach a higher darga, a higher level, which is really important. Listen to what the Maharal of Prague saying, and I quote, the Maharal of Prague asked the question, why is it that Matan HaSachar, meaning the reward for each mitzvah of the world to come, is not mentioned in the prophecy of Moshe? It is because that the Torah was given to the world through Moshe prophecy, but the term Olam Haba is not mentioned in this way. It's not even mentioned. And I continue. Our sages speak in exact opposite way as they mention Olam Haba through our minds. The prophecy reach the person's vision through pnimiyut. His reality is only in that. In essence, if a person only operate under his own universe, under his own reality, under his own paradigm, his ability will be stuck on level 7. You will be stuck on level 7 unless you are willing to go to a level 8, which is actually chitzoniut, meaning expanding your mind. And look what the rabbi said. Therefore, this type of person who is operate only in pnimiut, only through emotion, only through the heart, he can't reach higher, for the things are outside of his world. Meaning he cannot reach outside because he's operating only in a box. Listen to this. However, a person who is working in chitzoniyut has major, great boundaries as he is dependent upon his mind. Even those things that are outside his world. The question today that all of us have to ask ourselves, especially from Hanukkah, are you focused only on your own little kingdom, on your own little candle, or are you focused on the entire menorah? This is the exact question that we have to operate under. If we're operating only under our own candle and under what we understand and what we see and what we do, rather than the wholeness of the entire Chanukiah, meaning I can look outside myself and I can understand things that are outside of myself through the avodah. That's exactly what it is, through the mitzvah. Then guess what? I can always reach a higher level. But you say, wait a second, Rabbi Shapiro, that means should I do things that I don't understand? Shouldn't I understand first? Let me remind you that the Torah says, Naaseh v'nishma. We don't always have to understand everything that we do. Sometimes we simply have to obey. Is it better to be a prophet? This is the question that you have to ask yourself. Is it better for each and every one of us to be simply a prophet? Or is it better to be a person who can learn and grow in intellect? Which one do you think it is? Well, listen to what it says in Bava Batra 12, and I quote, a sage, meaning a wise man, is greater than a prophet, as it is stated in Psalm 90:12. And a prophet has a heart of wisdom. He is wise. When comparisons are drawn, who is compared to whom? You must say that the lesser is compared to the greater. Here too, prophecy is compared to wisdom. Thus indicated that wisdom is greater than prophecy. You see, a person who is operating in a spirituality level of below, meaning he is confining itself to only one own experiences, to one own pnimiyut. He will be limited. Might be a prophet. He might be able to prophesy, but he is be limited because he's put himself into this like a box. So what we have to do today, listen to this. Chazal concluded that in the way of pnimiyut, one cannot achieve the spirituality from above. I want you to hear it today, because so many of you want to be led by the Spirit and moved by the Spirit. You want to be led by the Spirit? You want to be moved by the Spirit? Great! Light the Chanukiah. That's a mitzvah. Fulfill the mitzvot. Give charity. Give tzedakah. Give to the poor. Give today to the operation that we do in Israel for Tzfat, Sukkot Shalom. Don't hypothesize things. Don't sometimes I'm hearing people say, I'm waiting to hear from God. I'm waiting to hear from the Lord. No, you don't understand. If you're operating under this demeanor, you yourself putting God into the box. Because what you need to be praying for is you need to be praying for, rather than teach me how to light the Chanukiah, you should say, God, send me as many Chanukiahs as I can. Send me as many candles as I can so that I can light them. And even if my lighting is not perfectly through the sechel, through failure, I am going to do things better. And my universe will be expanded. You see, our universe expanded and our circle of influence to the heavens is expanded when we are not focusing in pnimiyut, when we are focusing in chitzoniyut. Chitzoniyut is Torah. When Yeshua said, let your light shine before men, he was talking about chitzoniyut. He doesn't say, oh, look so holy. No, let your light shine before men. It's chitzoniyut. Do the mitzvot. Do the action. let your sechel, let understanding that you do those things. You don't have to understand the matana sachar of each mitzvah in order to do this. And we have to understand this in order for us to get to the fullness. I believe that we have to operate in both ways. We have to have the chitzoniyut, meaning the sechel, the true understanding. But we also need the pnimiyut, the heart, to meet it. But where do we start? Believe it or not, Hanukkah comes to teach us that we cannot start in the pnimiyut. When Judah the Maccabee went to battle, he did not start with the pnimiyut. He has his emunah, but his action dictate those things. From a deep, deep place, it was the action that ultimately won this battle. How do you win the battles today? You don't mean it by just praying about things. You win your battles truly through fulfilling the mitzvah, through the sechel, through the avodah. Do it, and even if you don't feel it at times, do it anyway. And Hashem will grant you great koach. I'll see you tomorrow for the next part of this important shiur for us today, Shnei Olamot. God bless you. Fulfill a mitzvah today. Come on, friends. Let us not just be driven by emotion, but be driven by the sechel to be able to do the work. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Shalom, everybody.